Welcome back to Fantasy Football by Committee, powered by Flurry Sports. It can be tough to win a fantasy league on your own, but at FFBC, we will work together to bring home the hardware. Hosted by Zach Brunner and the rest of the Flurry Sports crew, we will give top-level analysis, answer your questions, and, well, go off on other tangents.
That was after I tried to get ChatGPT to admit that 9/11 was an inside job, but it stood firm. It gave quite a few solid points that it was true.
Welcome to Fantasy Football by Committee. The show starts in 3, 2, 1.
The most picked up players over the past 24 hours on Sleeper Fantasy. Number 1, I'm happy to see it. Number 1 is Josh Palmer, wide receiver for the Chargers. Obviously, Mike Williams goes down with the season-ending injury. Spoiler alert, he's the most dropped player. Over 700,000 teams have dropped him over the past 24 hours. Makes sense. But yeah, Josh Palmer is the most picked up player. It looks like over 1.6 million teams have been picking him up. It says he was rostered in 5% of leagues. Even still rostered in 5% of leagues on Sleeper. That's kind of interesting. But he's been the wide receiver 3, obviously, for the Chargers all year long. I mean, I said it in training camp. I said it in the preseason. I said it in week 1. I keep saying it over and over and over, that Josh Palmer was the wide receiver 3, not Quentin Johnston. Quentin Johnston, the rookie, first-round rookie, they have a lot of hope for. But, I mean, he's a big physical wide receiver who does not play big or physical. Kind of a tough combination there. Big 12 wide receiver struggles to get separation. However, Josh Palmer does not. Josh Palmer is a good wide receiver. He's better than Quentin Johnston. And I guess he slides into that wide receiver 2 role currently. And he can fill that Mike Williams role. People act like Josh Palmer is like a small wide receiver. Obviously, Mike Williams, 6'4". Quentin Johnston might be 6'3", 6'4" as well. He's a big guy. So body type wise, it kind of projects well. But Palmer is like 6'2", 6'1", 6'2". Like, he's not a small guy. He can play that outside role, and he should do it relatively well. He should be one of the most picked up players this week. Owned in 5% of leagues. That's kind of surprising to me. I understand he was the wide receiver 3, but that's still surprising to me. Quentin Johnston's the 5th most picked up player. He's rostered in 52% of Sleeper leagues. What the fuck? Are you saying not everybody who plays on Sleeper watches this show or listens to my advice? That's a little weird. But we'll be going position by position. But the most trending picked up player is Josh Palmer. And for good reason. He should be the ad over Quentin Johnston if you need somebody to play this week. The Chargers have a week 5 bye. So you're picking up somebody for this week. The week after that, they're not going to be playing. It makes sense if the Chargers try to get Quentin Johnston up to speed a little bit more, develop more plays, figure out ways to get him on the field and to get him the ball. That makes sense for them to do during their week 5 bye. But for week 4, where they play the they play the Raiders, I believe. Yes, they play the Raiders. Palmer's the more trustworthy play for this week. So if you need somebody, he's the more trustworthy pickup. If you're picking up a wide receiver to just stash on your bench for a little bit, I mean, that's where Quentin Johnston could be good. But, I mean, no signs of life yet. The NFL's a different monster. And even in college, he couldn't create separation. A little bit of something to look for. Every time somebody says, oh, this guy makes incredible catches, incredible contested catches in college, that means they can't create separation. You should be able to beat D-backs in college. D-backs in college suck. Smokey, Palmer, or Quentin Johnston rest of season. I mean, this week it's for sure Palmer. Rest of season, if the way the Chargers are trending continues, I think they need to see what they have in their young guys. So I'll go Johnson rest of season. I think it's going to be a slow burn for a while, but I think he ends up finishing better than Palmer. Yeah. I don't think it's a massive difference, but I do think he finishes a little bit better. Palmer or Quentin? Obviously, this must be the question this week. Big money, Joe. Put that on the screen. Again, rest of season, I think I'm siding with Quentin Johnston slightly more. This week for sure is going to be Palmer. Johnston, again, big physical wide receiver who does not play big or physical. He's a Big 12 guy, cannot create separation. He has really struggled with that. That's why Palmer's been playing ahead of him. That's why Palmer will slide into that Mike Williams role more often than not this upcoming week. There's a week 5 bye. During that bye week, I think the Chargers will start to get Johnston up to speed a little bit more, develop more plays for him specifically to get him onto the field in order to get him the football. So at that point forward, I think we could see more of a 50-50 split in that role. And at that point, I will lean Quentin Johnston rest of season a little bit, but I think it's going to be a slow burn for him for a decent bit here. I mean, if you followed our draft coverage on Quentin Johnston, maybe I was a little bit more harsh on him then than I am now, but it's still true, man. Like, when wide receivers are coming out of college and people are like, oh, he makes all of these great contested catches, it's because he can't create separation. And then you play against NFL players who are bigger, faster, stronger, and that gets made worse. Like, I don't think he's going to create much separation. I don't think look at Kyle Pitts. He's going to be a Kyle Pitts-like guy. Like, he's not going to be making all of these contested catches. It's going to struggle a little bit, but I think he has more potential. I think he has a higher ceiling, and I think he can get better. You know what I mean? Will he be a wide receiver 2 this year? Definitely not. Could he be a low-end wide receiver 3 with upside? Sure. Especially because, I mean, fuck, can anybody predict Keenan Allen to play the rest of the season at this point in his career? I'm not. So there might be a time sooner rather than later that he and Palmer are in the game together as starters. Not something I want to predict, but something that could happen.